I'd like to tell you about this painting I have, which is a watercolour of a steamship, the SS Clermiston. This was a ship that my grandfather sailed on a long time ago. My grandfather was born in 1885 and started sailing when he was 19 years old. And I have a record of all of his voyages and all the ships he sailed in on his discharge books, which give you all the details, including a discharge certificate for the very first sailing that he made. Thomas Urquhart, 19 years old, date of engagement June 1905. He sailed on goodness knows how many ships in his time, because his discharge books run into 2 volumes, and it's full of all the names of the ships he was on. And the one ship that he sailed on most of all was the SS Clermiston. And in this discharge book here, I can see that he sailed on something like 8 voyages on the one ship, the last one ending in 1932. And I remember as a small boy, my grandfather telling me that of all the ships he sailed on, the Clermiston was his favourite. And it was such a favourite that he bought a painting of the ship. Because back in those days, artists used to hang around the docks along with others, and they would paint ships. They would paint ships, and the sailors would buy them along with other things. And this was one of the paintings that he bought from a dockside artist, or so it seems. When I was a little boy of 8 years old, after my dad died, I went with my mum and sister to live in my grandparents' house in Fernbank on the island of Yell in Shetland. And hanging on the wall above the fireplace in the living room was this very picture, or sort of this very picture. It hung there for years until we moved house to the Shetland mainland, to a little place called Liebeton in Sandwich, and we were there for 3 or 4 years, and this painting hung on the wall there as well. And we moved from there to a council house in Sandwich, in Breakfield Road, and the painting moved with us there as well. Then, in 1969, we left Shetland and came to Arbroath, and the painting moved from Shetland to Arbroath with us, except that somewhere between Lerwick and Arbroath, the frame and the glass made it, but there was no watercolour picture of SS Clermiston. Someone had snaffled it. It had gone, it had been taken. I don't know how or by whom or where, but the picture had gone. There was no picture. So, from 1969 to 1975, when I got married, I took the frame and the glass with me to my new home in Auchmithie, and it lay in the attic for years and years. And then, in the early 2000s, I thought it would be nice to have the old watercolour replicated. And it so happened I had a very good friend from childhood days, schoolboy days, called Jim Tate. And Jim Tate was a marine artist in Lerwick. He operated under the name of Tate Gallery. And he was damned good. He did a fine seascape. He was very good at waves, very good at skies, but he had a lifelong interest in ships, especially old ships. And after trawling the internet I managed to find a photograph of the SS Clermiston, and I printed off a copy of it, not terribly good, but good enough to send to Jim, and I asked him if he could transfer that into a watercolour. Much the same style as what I remembered the original painting to be done in. And Jim did it. So this is the original frame, my granddad's original frame, glass and original backing. But the painting is a more recent one by an expert marine artist who was so good at painting ships that he got this one completely wrong. The problem with the photograph that I gave Jim is that it's a picture of the SS Clermiston at anchor, being either unloaded or loaded. And in it, you can see the derricks, which are these cranes, in the upright position. That's when a ship is stationary and things are happening, things are working. Unfortunately, I wanted the painting to look like the original, which was the ship at sea, under full steam, going through the waves. And no ship ever went to sea with its derricks or its cranes in the upright position with hooks dangling and swinging free from them. So, as paintings go, it's all a bit phony and fake, but it still means a lot to me because it's sort of my granddad's original painting. And this was done by a good friend of mine. And I just hope that my granddad isn't up there just now looking down on me, because after all his years on the SS Clermiston, he ended up being the bosun, not just bosun, but bosun and lamps. So a bosun was like the foreman on a ship who knew all the intricate workings of a ship. And he instructed all the working men, the working crew, what to do. And he would know damned fine that there was something far wrong with that painting, and he probably wouldn't be too happy about it, but it's the best I could do under the circumstances. And there we are. That's the story of my granddad, who by the way was called Thomas Urquhart. And that's the story of Thomas Urquhart, who was bosun on the SS Clermiston, his painting.